Toby Walsh is chief scientist at the AI Institute of the University of New South Wales. I asked him which of the two companies, Microsoft or Google, is winning the AI race currently.
Well, Microsoft took an early lead. Their partnership with OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, certainly catapulted them into the front place. And Google have been playing catch up. They had to follow up by their announcement of their equivalent to ChatGPT Bard. And I think these numbers are suggesting perhaps they're doing quite well in the game of catch up.
Now, over the past months, both Google and Microsoft employees have actually raised concerns about launching AI chatbots. Nevertheless, the two companies went ahead. What are the concrete dangers here?
That's an excellent question. There are definitely some immediate concrete dangers that we can see, in particular things like misinformation. People are already being scammed by people using these chatbots to generate content, phishing emails and the like. And I'm very worried what's going to happen in the upcoming US presidential election. And these sorts of tools are the perfect tools to manipulate how people are going to vote at speed and scale and at very little cost. So we really do have to worry about deploying these tools in a more responsible way.
Now, how are companies reacting, or these two companies reacting, to these very concrete dangers and worries?
Well, there's certainly a lot of pressure on them to react. There have been meetings at the White House, and they're certainly proposing some voluntary accords. The Google and Microsoft have just announced a new partnership, the Frontier Model Forum, where they're actually going to work together alongside OpenAI and Anthropic, two of these startups that are providing these large language models, to look at how to try and do this more responsibly. But you do have to ask the question. They've said this before. They said this about social media and whether we're going to have to be a bit more forceful in the regulation of these companies to ensure that the commercial pressure, huge commercial pressure, we're talking about trillions of dollars of value being created here, doesn't override the harms that might otherwise happen if they deploy these things too quickly without the appropriate safeguards.
Right. So in the future, we'll have to be careful that greed doesn't override safety. What positive things can we expect from AI to come in the coming years, though?
Many positive things. I mean, that's why we are in this race, is that there's going to be immense value created. There have been various studies that estimate it's going to grow the world's GDP by 15%. We face a huge number of problems. The climate emergency that we see sadly on our television screens every day. We see there's still the ongoing pandemic. Artificial intelligence is going to help us tackle many of these problems. New drugs have been discovered recently with artificial intelligence. We can help to try and use the planet in a more sustainable way using these very tools. So whilst there are challenges that they pose, they also offer great potential to help us live healthier, longer, happier, wealthier lives.
A good note to end on. Toby Walsh, thank you so much for speaking to us.
Always a pleasure.
Germany will spend 20 billion euros to support the development of local semiconductor production in the coming years. The money will subsidize projects from companies such as Intel and Taiwanese chipmaker TSMC. Germany aims to create a more stable supply of computer chips that withstands political turmoil in East Asia. A Bloomberg report says the government is in the final stage of negotiations with TSMC to set up a manufacturing plant in Germany. Let's bring in DW Taipei Bureau Chief Zhu Zhonghan now. Zhu, how concrete are these plans between Taiwanese chipmakers, TSMC and the German government to build a facility here in Germany?
Well, Marie, from the sources we have, TSMC's investment in a 12-inch wafer fab in Dresden is in the process of finalizing negotiations with the German government. TSMC could get up to 5 billion euros in subsidies from the total 20 billion euros in subsidies to related companies. The German government will allocate grants from the Climate and Transformation Fund to German local and international enterprises in 2027. The main purpose is to promote German semiconductor manufacturing and ensure the supply of key components in times of rising geopolitical tensions.
Right. So even looking beyond Germany, TSMC has been moving parts of its industry abroad, for example, by opening a plant in Arizona in the United States. And how far has its global expansion been successful so far?
Well, TSMC's willingness to go further to set up factories in Europe is mainly due to the fact that the European Union and Germany have seen TSMC's high-efficiency expansion plans in the U.S. and Japan. And the two countries are speeding up the realization of their semiconductor manufacturing plans. So they are more proactive in negotiating with TSMC and have initially agreed to the conditions set forth by TSMC. And that is why these countries, including Germany, are willing to guarantee the acquisition of land, tax incentives, and water and electricity exemption, etc. So most people look at it will see it as a very successful move.
And do these big expansion plans mean Taiwan could lose its advantage as the world's chip maker if the whole chip making industry goes global?
Well, Marie, no, not really. TSMC's global construction plan have actually two key points. The first is that the most advanced manufacturing processes will still be located in Taiwan. Semiconductor technology is constantly advancing, and TSMC continue to invest in new technology and master the key technologies here in Taiwan. The second is that overseas factories should have local characteristics and promote alliances. These plans in other countries are copied from the Taiwan plan, which is rooted here, and the protection of the patents and trade secrets are of great significance, which have become advantages that can influence the competitiveness of Taiwan under the impact of geopolitics.
Right. Now, taking a look at the broader picture here, is TSMC looking at a successful 2023 economically so far?
Well, the answer to this question is not as positive as previous ones. TSMC has revised down its operating target for this year, anticipating a 10% reduction in revenue. Although AI demand is strong, it cannot compensate for a weaker than expected growth in the economy, especially the growth, especially when we look at China's economic recovery, it's really slow. And some analysts said it's like squeezing the toothpaste for TSMC's revenue revised down, happening 3 times a year. We might see more toothpaste squeezing this year.
All right, so more toothpaste squeezing ahead. Su Tsung Han, thank you so much.